When it comes to camera gear, there's a lot out there. Some gear you simply don't need, and then there's other gear that is absolutely necessary if you're serious about video. This video is about a piece of gear that you absolutely do need if you're serious about video, and will actually allow you to shoot in ways that you would not be able to shoot without it. It allows you to shoot a wider aperture in bright sunlight, and it also allows you to take the reflections and glare off of certain objects like water so you can see straight through them. It also allows you to change your exposure without changing any of your settings on your camera. You can also dial in a look that fits your taste, or you can use it to come up with creative ideas. However you use it, this is something you're gonna want to have in your gear bag. That piece of gear is the V2 Magnetic Hybrid VND CPL by Freewell. Now, in all transparency, Freewell did send me this VND/CPL to review. They did not tell me what to say, but they said that I could keep it in exchange for a review. So I'm going to give my honest opinion about it. First of all, what is it? This is what they sent me. This is the Hybrid VND CPL 3 to 7 stop 82mm VND. So if you don't know what a VND is, it just stands for variable neutral density filter. And basically what that means is you put this filter on the front of your lens and it cuts down on the amount of light that comes through your lens. So you can look at this as a way to control exposure. So the question is, do you need an ND filter? I'm gonna say yes, especially if you're doing video. The reason why is because there is something called the 180-degree shutter rule, which means whatever your frames per second is, so if you're shooting at 24 frames per second, then you want your shutter speed to be double that. So that's gonna come out to be 48 frames per second. Now some cameras can't do that, so they'll just round it up to 50. So when you're shooting at 1/50, that's gonna let in a lot of light. Now remember, there are really two main things that control your exposure. It's gonna be your shutter speed and your aperture. Now your aperture you can adjust, and that's going to not only affect your exposure, but also your depth of field. So like right now, you can see the background behind me is blurred out and I'm in focus, and that's because I'm shooting at 1.4. Now I'm not saying shoot at 1.4, but I'm just telling you what the VND allows you to do. So this allows you to separate your foreground from your background when you're in a brightly lit situation like me. Now the circular polarizer part of this thing is a whole different thing, and I'll explain that to you. Now the other thing with this filter is it also is a CPL filter, which is a circular polarizer. Basically all that means is that this filter built into this VND lens also cuts down on glare. So if you have things like glass or a car that has reflections in it, by turning this filter you can actually get rid of those. And the same is true for like if you're looking at water, like some of the shots you saw before. I'm going to show you something crazy or cool about the CPL now. Take a look at the monitors behind me here. You see that? They completely go away and you can bring them back. I just thought that was pretty dope. But anyway, CPLs are really nice to have too. All right, so this is a demonstration of the CPL, or the circular polarizing filter. Look up here at the top of the battery. I have a light just above this here. You can see the reflection on top of the battery, but when I turn the CPL, watch it. Keep watching. You see how I got darker there? Brighter, darker. All of this up here, you can see the reflection change. So this is really helpful to reduce glares and things like that, especially if you're shooting things like cars or something in the water. You can get rid of stuff like that. So that's just a brief demonstration. And then here's the actual CPL itself, going from 3, 5, 6, and 7 stops. So that's the difference you're gonna get between fully open and fully closed. And you're not gonna get an X pattern with this because it has a hard stop on it, both ways. So a hard stop all the way open and a hard stop all the way closed. So I like this. I like the CPL, it's good. So how does this Freewell system differ from all the other ones that are out there? Well, this one is magnetic, and that I love about it. So the way it works is this. It comes as 82 millimeter size. That's the biggest size that it comes in. So what you would do is you would take your biggest lens and you would look at the filter thread size. So let's say your filter thread size on your largest lens is 72 millimeter. So what you would do is you would then buy this 72 millimeter ring adapter. That will screw onto the front element of your lens. And then after you screw that on, then the other part, which is the VND and the CPL, that just magnetically connects to that adapter ring. Now, they did also send me this mist filter. So this is for adding like halation and stuff like to your shot. I'm gonna put it on and you guys can tell me what you think. That's with the Pro Mist filter on. This is a quarter, so it's not that strong, and this is with it off. So on or off, on. Now, I think those are pretty cool, but I don't really use filters like mist filters on the front of my lenses, and the reason why is because a lot of this now you can do in software with things like in DaVinci Resolve. I believe there's some filters, but then Dehancer, which I reviewed a while back, you can take a look at that video up there. But there's a lot of that effects, a lot of those effects you can just put on after the fact. So if you shoot with those filters on, then you can't change it in post. That's what it is. Now they do give you this nice carrying case to put everything in. It's really nice. It's pretty high quality, built well. They actually gave me two different cases, one for the filter itself, and then one for the mist. And then there's covers that you could put on as well, magnetic covers for the front and back. So if you're storing it in your bag and things like that, it'll protect the lens, and everything is magnetic, so that makes it really cool. Now the other thing about this is if you want to use the mist part of this filter without the ND, you can do that as well. So basically what you would do is you take the ND filter off of the ring, and then you flip this filter around this way and it screws on. Now, I wish this was magnetic too, because then everything would be really simple. Now as far as the VND goes, the way it works is you screw this little screw thing on the front here, and that tightens up everything. Once you do that, then you can actually change the stop. So this is a 3 to 7 stop VND, and you can adjust it accordingly. And then if you want to change your CPL, then you'll loosen this up, and then you can turn and swivel the whole thing, and that changes the polarizer that's built in there. So overall, I think this is a pretty good system. I highly recommend it, not just because they sent it to me, but I've used it on some shoots and it's really nice to have, especially the magnetic part where I can just pull it off and throw it in a pouch here. It's really convenient because I don't have to worry about unscrewing it, because even when you're unscrewing it, the chances of dropping it are really high. So I do like that. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Is this something that you would purchase? Do you already have one? What kind of filter do you use? Or do you use VND at all? Anyway, until next time, I'll holler at y'all later. I'm out. Peace.